Folks, back to the Craig Bushon Show, BeFirstInMedia.com, the growing in-your-face place, leading the internet revolution, and more. So glad to team up tonight at the Lion in Rose. Second time I've been out here. What a great place to eat. I had the pastrami with Thousand Island. Oh my God. I loved it. I don't care if it had gluten in it or not. What's wrong with gluten? Maybe I'm allergic to wheat. I don't know. But again, folks, welcome back. Craig Bushon Show. We're live out here, teamed up here with the New Revolution Now. Go to newrevolutionnow.org. Also, strong partnership with the Austin Tea Party and beyond. And a very, you can think of it as a think tank. You can really think of the Tea Party as a big, giant think tank that says, damn it, we're not going to take it anymore, but we're going to do it calmly, but we're going to win. We're going to play the rules, but we're going to knock you out. I don't care if you put your thumb in my eye and the referee don't call it. We're like Rocky Marciano. We're going to get up and we're going to win. You know, our government may have lost battles, but the American people have never lost a battle yet. Because freedom is still alive. Freedom is still here. It's a place where you can come. It doesn't matter where you come from or what color you are or what grade you got in the school you left from another place. As long as you come here legally, you are welcome. And you're as welcome as if you're one of the original founders. I don't care if you're here for 1 minute. You are welcome. Everybody is welcome here who's willing to play by the rules. If you're not willing to play by the rules, go back to my Rocky Marciano statement. And what's so exciting today is that, or tonight, we've been interviewing people. The New Revolution Now had the BBC come out, and they deserve it. They're working really hard. The Austin Tea Party working really hard. And they're getting some notoriety, because they're doing the right thing, and they're getting interviewed. And then we said, hey, how about we interview the interviewers? And I have a card right here, and I'm going to make sure that I don't mess this up. Stephane Boussard?
That's correct.
Isn't that beautiful? Round of applause, please. No, I'm kidding. Le Temps, which means the times.
Exactly, in French.
In French. Oh, it's damn French. No, I'm kidding. Don't get me started on the French now.
Now, French part of Switzerland.
Oh, well, you can get rid of that, can't you? You don't have to have that there. Can't you vote it out or something? How could we? Let's have an American part of it. How about that? We'll replace it.
Yeah.
No?
We'll see.
Well,
there are a lot of Americans living in Switzerland.
Well, I know that. You're making my point.
Even having Swiss bank accounts.
That's research's been wrong on that one. I know. Listen, the fact is that, and it's legal to have them there, isn't it?
It is. If you declare them, it's totally legal.
Then why do you get such a bad rap? It's like totally legal. So unfair. But anyway, welcome to the show. Tell the folks about yourself. First, what are you doing here?
Right, I'm the U.S. correspondent of this Swiss daily newspaper based in Geneva, and I'm based in New York, and I've been here for a year, and I have a 4-year assignment, so I have 3 more to go, and it's pretty exciting to cover the U.S. As my former colleague was saying from the BBC, I also cover very different topics, from politics to economy to culture, society. That's a very exciting thing to do here in the U.S.
Well, you've heard, the conversation and me talking, and then, obviously I'm pushing buttons, and part of my job is to point out the obvious, but also slap people around with a nice soft pillow. And, here you are. You're from another part of the world, okay? And you're here now, and you're here for 4 years. That's exciting for you, okay? What's special about America to you? Why should what's unique about us in your thoughts?
Well, anyway, I still have a lot to learn, but in a year, what I can say is that what struck me in a way is the sense of freedom here. it's a sense that is much stronger than, for example, in Europe. I'm referring, for example, to a debate that has been going on in the last weeks about freedom of expression, and that's an intangible kind of principle protected by your Constitution, the First Amendment, and this sense of freedom.
Can you say that one more time? Protected by the what?
By the First Amendment
and the Constitution. Yeah, thank you.
Exactly.
I want to make sure we get that. I want to make sure I pick that up. No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was a little American sarcasm.
And I mean, there is a obviously freedom of expression in Europe, and it's a very strong principle as well. But it's not defended as strongly as it is here in America. I mean, whether you like it or not, you can say whatever you want because there is a freedom of expression. It's not always very present, but I mean, it's a core principle of democracy, and I think this principle here in America is very much defended, very well defended, and I think that's a very impressive aspect of America that I discovered over the weeks, you know. And what also impressed me here is also the sense that you always have a drive because you're moved by a very strong optimism. Optimism is a founding myth of America, and I can perceive it. Wherever I go, I meet a lot of people, and there's always this sense of, okay, we can make it in the future, we can make it, and that's something, that's a drive that we don't necessarily see in Europe as strongly as we do here. And those are two redeeming features I've seen over the last year.
Well, freedom, you know, freedom of speech, right? Which also leads into freedom of press, right? It's not easy because you're right. Freedom, I don't need freedom of speech to say, he looked great today. I don't need it for that. I need it when I need the protection when I say something that most everyone may not agree with. And maybe half the people agree with it. I don't know. But we're seeing a big test of that right now. What happened with this little 14-minute film that was an expression of a person using free speech and using their freedom of the press, not saying agree or disagree, that's not even the point. That the pushback is other parts of the world, it feels like they want to take that freedom away from us, to the point now that I think it's concerning that we have a presidency that goes over and starts to run advertising, apologizing for the ability of freedom of speech. I mean, where does it end? I mean, you could be up there all day long if you really vetted what everybody said that was wrong and put up on YouTube. The president could be up every single day talking about, we don't really think that as an American people. And I know I'm not trying to drag you into the weeds here. I'm not. But it's a very important part of our histories being made right now. We're being defined once again. Because America is, when they say it's this melting pot, it is, but it's also, we're the tip of the blade. You know, we're always pushing yeah, we can be free. Yeah, you know, yeah, we can say that. Yeah, we can invent that. Yeah, we can be Americans. But we're always, because we're the tip of the blade, we take the brunt of the force because we have all that freedom, and you're right. And when we do that, we have to have the ability and the awareness and the internal strength to defend it. Because unfortunately, the defense of freedom of speech is for the ugly stuff, not for the nice stuff. And then we're being challenged right now because we're feeling that we have to go in other places and apologize for what one individual did, and that's not possible to do that. Because if we're going to be being pushed back on constantly by somebody, another country, being upset for whatever reason, we'll be apologizing every day. And I don't personally believe that we should apologize for what our Constitution gives us. Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, I think what I would say here is that there's probably, even in Europe or in the Muslim world, because obviously that's what you were referring to,
right, sure.
There's a lack of understanding of what freedom of expression stands for.
What freedom is.
Yeah. And obviously, for example, in Europe, what I see is that you do have freedom of expression, and that's a core principle of also the European democracy.
Sure.
But they do pose limits to you know, for example, there are elements in the national laws where they say, okay, freedom of expression should stop somewhere, you know.
Well,
Whereas you don't have that in America, because obviously you have a full freedom of expression, and that's a very redeeming feature of America.
Well, we can't go into a movie theater and scream fire. You know, we can't do that. We can't go to an airport and say bomb. I mean, like, really can't do that. Yeah. You know, so we put limits on it too, but it's for the because it's that immediate piece of telling somebody something that isn't true. It's pulling back. We limit the freedom of speech when it's not a true freedom. Like, you can't run in and yell fire. Now, what if there really is a fire? Can you? Yeah, you sure can. And if you don't, in some states, you could be held liable. I mean, so that's where we do put limits on it, but it's when it's a lie, we're not allowed to say it. When we believe and perceive that it's the truth, and we have our fundamental value that you could have a level of truth, it's reasonable to know why that person would think that way, then that's their freedom to do it. If there's no fire in the room and someone yells it and no one sees it, then they have no reasonable, there's no reasonable condition for them to say it. So they're either crazy or they are trying to start something that really isn't there. Do you follow that's how I see the difference.
Yeah. What I would say actually about the Tea Party, because I see some kind of connections with Switzerland, for example, because it's you're talking about the grassroots movement,
absolutely
bottom up and things like that. And in Switzerland, we do have a so-called direct democracy. That means that every 3 months, basically, we vote on certain issues and things like that.
Sure.
And I think that's pretty strong. But we do have also some kind of movement that resembles, in a way, the Tea Party. It's called the People's Party.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're striving for more, for the people to have a more say in Swiss politics, you know.
Sure.
And I think I do see some kind of connections, and I do see other connections in the sense that Switzerland, like America, is a federal state, so we do have states as well, and they also fight for their own kind of freedom, or
like our 10th Amendment we have here, they have their own.
Exactly, they want to have their prerogatives.
Sure.
And they insist on that, and they fight against the federal government. We have the same kind of problematic, you know, between states and federal government. You know.
So what do you see? So when you look at the Tea Party and New Revolution Now, I mean, that's kind of like, hey, revolution. You throw that word out, it's like, wait a minute, revolution? These people they have guns? You know, the battle now isn't really guns, really. It's here. The battle of the mind. You know, there's a lot of dictators around the world, for example, that have a lot of people tricked that there's no such thing as freedom. You know, you see it happen in the Middle East, you see it happen in Egypt, you see it happen, you're seeing it happen all over the place. As soon as people can pick up a cell phone or see something that they've never seen before, they rebel because they find the truth. You know, and that's why even in China, communist China, Google's not allowed to put much in there. You know, the iPhone is being restricted. Why? Because the true thing that's really happening that I personally love, and the optimism that I have, is countries like yours are fighting. They're going, wait a minute. We want to have what we deserve. We want to be heard. We have an individual right to be heard and to be recognized. And we still have a huge number of countries out there that are powerful within the UN or wherever that don't give that freedom to their people. There are 700 million people in China that still have goats and wagons and have no concept that there's a real first world out here. And that's on purpose, and that's suppression. So that's why I love to hear, first of all, you coming and seeing what's going on here, seeing what's going on with New Revolution Now and the Tea Party, because you're 100% correct. That rawness, that standing up, it's not just for us. And this is me speaking for myself, but I know for a lot of people are like-minded. We're standing up for what we believe is the whole world. We want you to know that you're not alone. We want you to know that if you are being suppressed and you are under an oppression, we are here for you. And you know, that's kind of the way I personally look at it. So I applaud you guys for standing up too. I'll come over there and do a show. Not a problem. So, okay, so what's your agenda now? You're here for 4 years. You've been here for 1 year. You're here now. So you take this story, and then what does it become part of? This bigger story, or do you just do constantly doing writings and putting them out? How do people follow you if they want to follow what you're doing?
Well, actually, I came here for that's my first time in Texas.
Well, welcome.
And I think Texas is not very well known in Switzerland.
Oh,
so
that's a problem. Whoa, whoa.
No,
Can you believe that?
I mean, everybody knows Texas,
Okay.
but not always in the right way. So I wanted to.
Yes,
I
thank
wanted
you.
to
Yeah,
show
absolutely.
different.
We'll have to get you a hat.
Different facets of his state, and personally, it's a discovery because I have never been here. So when I come here, the first thing I have to say is I want to learn what's going on here. I want, for example, when I come here to listen to your rally here, is actually to learn what's going on. The
Sure.
diversity I could see within the Tea Party. I mean, it's not a monolith.
That's exactly right.
And I could talk to different people here, and I saw different
Different backgrounds,
different
ages.
opinions on certain issues.
Sure.
There are obviously common points, common features, but I saw the diversity, and that's what interests me. And first, before voicing any opinion or whatsoever, I have to come here and to learn and to listen to people, and that's how I work.
Is it what, before you came, did you have a preconceived notion? Have you been to the States much before this? Did you come a lot, or is this the longest time you've probably spent at one time? And then, has your opinion changed in any way since, what you thought before you've been here for a year and what you know now?
Yeah. I used to come. Yeah, I've come several times because my
Sure.
and but for a very short period
Sure.
of time.
Now you've been with
Whereas
us.
now I've been here for a year, so obviously you perceive America differently by living here.
So you love us more now.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Oh, that is true. The crowd, they
that's
say
true, that's
the
true.
Swiss. You're not actually neutral, though, are you really?
Yeah, we do.
Really?
We are.
That
We
neutral?
are.
Seriously?
That's debatable.
Exactly. You have a knife. I mean, you have a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like not too friendly, So, but seriously, I mean, it's always interesting to get feedback from people because this is what's crazy. You would really think, because we're a pretty free country, but less free than we've ever been. And I'm telling you.
Right.
I'm just telling you, the pushback you're getting and you're seeing, and from a lot of people that are older people too. Usually revolutions are like the 99ers sitting out there going, man, give me something. These are retirees. These are people that have lived a life. They've seen a lot. They've seen it. They call foul now. They've seen the wars. They've seen everything. Some of them have seen from the end of World War II. Then you got Vietnam, or Korea, and Vietnam, and Desert Shield, and Desert Storm, and I could go on. And they see what's going on. The message that needs to be taken, in my opinion, to the rest of the world, is that there's trouble in the waters. There really is. The united part of the United States, the core of this country, it's not a color. It's not a specific age bracket. It just so happens that the warning sign, kind of the canaries that are singing for us in the coal mine, are our retirees standing up and saying, you know what? Wait a minute. Something's wrong here. Because they've seen it. It's hard for someone who's 15 years old who's in this audience to say, hey, something's wrong here. No, it's easy for them to be led down a bad path. So what should be very concerning to the rest of the world is that this country has a true revolution, if not a rebellion, being led by the oldest among us. That is the first time ever in modern times. And maybe first time ever, period. I just can't remember back that far. That's a different thing. That's a different storyline. And that shows the seriousness of what's going on, at least for the way Americans feel. So that America that the rest of the world perceives and that people fall in love with, and they should, because we're wonderful people. It is in turmoil right now. And we need the help from other people out there. We need to see other people out there who believe that America is worth fighting for too. We don't want to feel like we're on our own island. And so that's what it is. And from my opinion, that's a big revolution happening because there is trouble in the waters. Do you guys get a sense of that at all from Switzerland? Do you see any? How do you see America? Do you see, oh, the politics are all messed up, or oh, that's just those crazy Americans? They've got it so good. Are they crazy?
Well, in Europe, you have all kind of perceptions of the U.S., obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, we could see the fact that Congress was blocked or whatever. Okay. You couldn't pass,
a budget like in 3.5 years. Yeah, it never happened before in the history of the United States. Yeah.
So what you can see from Europe is that politics is not very popular among the people. But actually, we see exactly the same kind of phenomenon in Europe.
Yeah.
You're talking about Italy because you have ancestors in Italy. And there, actually, they created a political party that is anti-politics, And so you
write that down. Hold on a second.
You do have a lot of skepticism now in Europe, as you have here, towards the politicians.
Right. Well, I think, and the good news is what's coming. I don't know what you feeling you've had from your interviews with the Tea Party. The Tea Party is a great filter. The Tea Party is working. The Ted Cruz thing, right? I'm sure you're familiar with Ted Cruz. That wave that's happened. That's a huge thing. That's never happened in the history of Texas politics ever. And it's specifically because of the Tea Party. And I'll take it a step further. The Republican Party is in existence today and won a majority of the House in the state of Texas because of the Tea Party, specifically. And we should be preaching that everywhere, but unfortunately in our press, you don't hear it as much as you should. So you need to help tell everybody, everywhere you can. Please. So what else? I'm gonna let you go here in a couple minutes. But anything? How could people follow you? How do they know where your writings are? Can they do you post places, or when someone says, "Hey, I want to"?
It's a daily newspaper. It's a print media.
It is, right? But they find it on the web, though, right?
We do have a website, absolutely, and so you can find my coverage of the U.S. there on the website.
Temps.ch.
Exactly.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Stephane.
Thank you.
Put your hand. A great Texas welcome. We gotta give. Hey, give me one of those shirts. Do we have a large over there? One of those shirts, Gabe. I'm gonna give you something to go home with. I'm gonna give you. You see that fist right there? You have to Google it. It's got a lot of meanings. But that's kind of our whatever he thinks fits. I'm gonna give you a gift. That'll work right there. Give me that one. Okay. Let me see that. Can I see that? Give me that real quick. Thank you. See this? That's yours. You go home, and now it says down there, Be First in Media, leading the internet revolution. There you go. That's for you. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.